Welcome back to the Kendra Crump Show. I know it's been a while since I've had a special guest to interview because you know what? Niggas be funny. I think that's what it be come down to. I gotta wait months and months or years upon years to get, an interview. But it's okay. It's okay. Part of the process, right? But anyway, so today I have a special guest. If you all are familiar with, she actually, I'm slightly a fan because this woman is amazing. The reason I say this woman is amazing is because she has a certain talent that other people probably don't have. Other people probably would be too afraid to do. And on top of that, she was in the news for something good, though. For something good. Something extraordinary. Guinness Book of World Records, okay? If you all don't know who I'm talking about Bae Charles, a.k.a. Briana Blayre, a.k.a. We're going to find out by the end of this interview or beginning, or whenever. A blind stripper. Yes, guys, I said that correctly. You heard me correctly. A blind stripper from Jacksonville, Florida, I believe. Okay, we're going to see everything about her. Once I heard about her story, I would say about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was like, ain't no way. And I'm going to tell you how I found out. Lil Duval, shout out to Lil Duval. He's like in my top 10, 20 favorite comedians. Probably his number 10, top 10 favorites. And he actually had, and I love his page, he actually posted, he said, yep, my city. He said, we up, whatever he said, And then, of course, I saw, her name being circulated on other YouTubers, like platforms. I'm like, wait, okay, cool. And then one day she actually had did an interview that was on YouTube with a guy named Mike, straight out of Chicago, and it just happened to pop up in my mentions, and I'm like, let me go ahead and like kind of click on and just kind of be nosy and see like who this woman is. And on top of that, y'all, she got hands. I'm not even lying, okay? This woman, like don't even try her. You listen, like, I'm like, wow, she needs to teach me how to fight. Anyway, back to the story. So was we have someone who was a legendary guest. She was out there, she was Tupac's security back in the day. Okay, she done, taught Whitney Houston some dance steps. Okay, she was out on tour doing backup for Ashanti. Okay, so we have Bae Charles, aka Briana Blayre, in the building. Hope I did a nice little introduction for you, sis. Yes, I hope you like that introduction. I try to put a little razzle dazzle on stuff. I try to.
Yeah. It was. I loved it. I'm down. I was there with Pop.
Of course. Well, look, tell him that he still owes me some money. We did a bet a while back.
It never happened with him and Faith. I was there. Never happened.
Of course. Well, first off, thank you so much for joining me, for taking out the time, for not putting me on your Section 8 waiting list of interviews. I appreciate that, sis. I appreciate that. So I did want to start off. Are you originally from Jacksonville?
No, I'm from Miami.
Oh, that's even better. All right then. So what part of Miami are you originally from? Opelika or Opelika? I know I probably butchered it. What part of Miami are you from?
15th Avenue and the Poke and Beans. That's where I spent most of my time. Actually, I'd be lying. I lived on 15th Avenue for about 2 years, but I mostly spent my time in the Polo Grounds and in the Poke and Beans. The PJs, the classics, but it was all good. It was a great time.
Okay, all right. You said the PJs. Now, you mean a TV show with Eddie Murphy? Is that's what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I did not know it was based out there. Okay, that's pretty dope. Okay, cool. So, grew up in Miami. What was that like growing up for you? Like, what was Miami's whole, what was that scenery and everything else? Like, what was Miami like for you?
Well, considering I was going there till I was 5.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's to me, Miami is just a hot New York. Cause, you got your D-boys on the corner sitting on their crates making their deals. You got everybody on the roller skates and their bikes and their scooters, and everybody played music like it was always old school hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the usual fight or be beat up.
Got you. So from 5 years old, where was the next city in Florida? Or were you always living in Florida, or did you move out of state?
I did a lot of relocating as a kid. Might as well say I was a military kid. I did a lot. I've lived in a lot of places. Atlanta, Decatur, the Boogie Down, Nashville, Fort Worth, Vegas. Oh yeah.
Oh,
even Scottsboro.
You live in life. So from one place to the next. Matt, may I ask, what was the reason behind all the moving?
I just don't like to sit in one spot.
I understand. You know what? Great minds think alike. I'm trying to be just like you. Only thing is, I'm trying to move into Rapper the Game's house, but he don't want to respond back to my DM. But I feel like because you out there famous and whatnot, sis, can you reach out to him? You can get a better or faster response than I can. I'm just saying.
I will definitely try. He's a busy dude, but I'll try. I'll be like, hey, bro, what's up with Kendrick?
Okay, so for Miami, you were at 5 years old and you started moving to different cities. What would you say was your least favorite city or state to live in, and your favorite city or state to have lived in during a short time period that you were there?
Honestly, my favorite, this might piss a lot of people off, especially if you're not a Cowboy fan, but I fuck with Dallas Fort Worth heavy, but there's a reason why. Because in Fort Worth, whether or not you have money or you don't, like whether you're rich or poor, high class or low class, you live fairly comfortable. Mm-hmm. Like, while the time I was there and I would volunteer at some of the homeless shelters, some of the stuff they do for the homeless community is amazing. They do things to help them fix their credit, to help them get really good paying jobs. They never go hungry, and they always have these drives with clothes, and the clothes are always name brand and sometimes even designers. I don't know. I've just got a really big heart like that. So when I see a city supporting those who normally would be disregarded or like, completely, like I said, disregarded. There's no other way. Disregarded. I don't want to say disrespected, but just undermined, basically. I fuck with that heavy because before it's lit and everybody has a good time. Yeah, you have a couple, die here or there, but it's never like everybody's killing each other like it is nowadays to get something, or they're stealing everybody. It's a whole community that comes together. Everybody wants to see each other elevate. So, Shout out to Fort Worth, especially Lancaster Avenue. Fuck with y'all.
Now, would you think about moving back there now, or you're pretty much...
Hell no.
Okay. Good answer. Okay. All right, so I wanted to ask you, so was it just you and your mother, or did you have other siblings who moved around with you, early child, around like elementary, middle school, or was it just like who was moving around with you when you was out there moving?
In the beginning, my mom had 3 kids. It was me, my brother, and my sister, my older sister, my baby brother. But throughout that, we were all together. But once I branched off into like my adolescent years, I mostly did a lot of it dolo.
Really? Okay, wait. So who are you living with? Like, are you emancipated yourself, or?
No, it wasn't ever like that. She just knew I was that child. I didn't want to sit still. I wanted to go. I wanted to see things. I wanted to do things. And I had other extended family that was just like, well, let's do it.
Oh, okay. I was like, what type of job did you have at freaking 12 where you was like living by yourself and just saying, I'm gonna move here? I was like a little, anything is possible now. Anything is possible.
I'm a premature butterfly, that's all. I didn't even give myself time to wait for my wings to dry before I cracked out the chrysalis and was like, okay, let's do this.
I got you. All right, so you told me prior to us recording that you had lost your vision at 10. What, and did you, and I remember hearing in one of the previous interviews, one of the previous interviews where I believe your mother, she saw it coming, or I guess you guys went to the optometrist and they're like, hey, she's losing her vision or so you're going to have to probably help her out with certain things. And that's when your mother taught you or learn how to fight around that time. How old were you when you really started, like, the vision started to disintegrate?
Yeah, and I want to explain that better, because my mom just wasn't like, okay, you're going blind, so we're going to teach you how to box. Like, they didn't go that way. At the time, we lived in a neighborhood, we had just moved, because my mom was always that overprotective parent. If she felt like the community or the environment started to get toxic or to get bad, she would not stick around, because she was like, okay, I have a girl and I have a son. So around this time, we had just moved, because I was having issues with being bullied in a previous neighborhood. Like, my whole life, I've been somebody's victim, not having somebody's target. I'm not gonna say victim, because I ain't nobody's victim. Somebody's target, even pre-vision loss. So we moved to this neighborhood, and for a while it was okay. And y'all know how a neighborhood or a subdivision, wherever you live, is okay until y'all get those neighbors that move out, and then y'all get them neighbors.
Oh yeah, of course. We've all had those types. Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. And this one lady moved in. She had, I kid you not, this lady had 12 children, and they all ranged from ages 0 to 18, seemed like.
Wow, okay.
It was a bunch of them.
She's
they
being
came
fruitful
from
and
a different neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So, on top of being bullied at school, because, I was short, I wore glasses, or whatever the case, whatever they thought they could pick on me, use to pick on me, that's what they did. But this group of children, they lived right across the street. And some of us, we went to school together. So I was sitting here thinking, like, okay, well, if they see, since we all go to the same school and we're neighbors, maybe if they see me getting bullied, they'll step up and be like, hey, she's cool. No, they joined them.
No, wait. So let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Out of the 12 children, there wasn't one or two people who decided not to be the leader and not the follower. Everybody followed each other.
I want to say there was not a one, because even there was only 3 of them. But this is why I don't even count them, because we'd only be friends when the older other ones that did bully me weren't around.
Mm-hmm.
They were being peer pressured into bullying me. But even at 9, I didn't believe that you could be peer pressured into bullying, because right from wrong or whatever.
That's right.
So I just felt like, hey, if you can jump on it that easy, then that just must be what you are.
Mm-hmm.
So it got to a point where I, get bullied at school. Then I come home, and every time I want to go outside to do anything, here I go getting bullied again. And a lot of the time, I did not tell my mom what was going on, because that was the reason why we would move in the first place.
Ah.
So as a kid, it was just like, okay. But after a while, when you get tired of it, and I went to her and told her about it. And she said, come on, like, you're not no punk. Like, suck that shit up. Like, you get your respect back. Like, respect is due to a dog. And I grew up with nothing but boys. Like, I had boy cousins and best friends from other neighborhoods who were good friends, who I called my older brothers. Like, they were like my family. So I grew up with nothing but boys. And she's like, all the shit we taught you over the years, you better start using it. Don't be nobody. You ain't nobody's punk.
That's right. That's right. Shout out to moms, man. Shout out to moms. And this was, you would say, about 8 years old or 9 years old around this time, you would say?
I was speaking of...
Was it? You say that again, Briana?
Nothing. But yeah, that's how it was.
Okay. Got you. So you say you were 10 years old. That's when
I was about 8 or 9 when this was going on.
Got it. So... how did you learn how to, you say your mom taught you, said you ain't gonna be no punk. How did you learn how to fight? Like, who taught you that? Like, did you?
Well, I'm not gonna say I never knew. Like, let me break it down. Like I said, I grew up with nothing but boys. I had boy cousins, and even previous neighborhoods. They were always the everybody's got that auntie, your mom's best friend or whatever you call them, auntie. Mm-hmm. Everybody has one. I had one of those. I had one of those. So. Their sons were like my brothers, so we'd always roughhouse, but I would never tell her about, like, the bullying or whatever. I would never tell them, because if I ever told them, they'd want to go and beat up the kids. And, we're like 8 and 9, and they're probably 15 and 16, so I couldn't do that. But it became a problem when I didn't have any peace, And I started losing my vision. Once the kids heard about me losing my vision starting to go, that's when, instead of subsiding, they were like, okay, this is going to get even more fun. And my mom got sick of it. So she started showing me the maneuvers. She's like, well, since she would blindfold me and be like, you're going to have to move like this and pay attention to your surroundings. And day by day, I get better. And one day, because she had never seen it. She had never seen it happen until one day, I was, doing my thing outside as usual, and all those children come. Here come them children, and, she's seeing how mean they were, and she's like, you know what, y'all think y'all so big and bad? All right, I done showed her some shit, so $20 if y'all can whoop her ass.
Ah, okay, that's where the payment came from. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
Never all good. She just pay him to fight, and if you won, you get paid, and if you lost, then just take your ass home. And don't fuck with her no more.
I see not a lot of people won, did they?
No.
Of course not. All right. Listen, you got to teach me, man. You got to teach me. I ain't never been in no fight before.
I don't like to fight, so that's the thing. It sounds crazy. It's like a blind person fighting and not being scared to or worried about it. It's not, I don't like that. Don't. Because then you always get those ones that are like, oh, well, she ain't going to do it to me. And it's like, okay, now I got to deal with you. I don't like it. I don't condone violence, but I'm not going to be disrespected by nobody. I don't care who you are.
But you know what? I think that's with anyone. Like, for example, I don't like cursing folks out. Like, why would you let me why would you allow me to get that angry? But some people, they need a good slap in the face. Slap some sense back into them. Some people, it humbles people. Sometimes. So, I did want to ask you, were you still able to attend public school, or did you have to go to school for like, for like blind children? So like, how was like once you started losing your vision, like what type of schooling did you go to?
Unfortunately, at the time, how do I say this without sound like I'm bashing the school system? They suck, because when I first lost my vision, I don't know if you are anybody, like if you were 90s or an early 2000s baby, you were around when there was such thing called the FCAT. And what the FCAT is, it was, like that state test that would determine whether or not you would be promoted to the next grade. Mm-hmm. You would have to pass that test in order, to like I said, to get promoted. And I lost my vision completely a week before FCAT.
Wow.
I lost it in April 17th. The FCAT was April 24th, and the school gave my mother such a hard time, because they're like, well, how's she going to take the test? Because there's all these regulations and rules, and we can't have anybody read it to her. But if it's a reading test, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't have anybody read it to her. She's not going to be able to do this. She's not going to be able to do that. So, unfortunately, what they made me do, I had to repeat the third grade. Yeah, because of losing my vision, because I couldn't take the test. But what they did was, toward the end of my third grade year, not my second one, but my first one, my mom found this school where I could go and learn Braille, and I could still participate in, standard education classes. Like, I could still, go in math, science, history, blah, blah, blah. But I would be learning Braille at the same time. So when it came down for FCAT again, they would promote me and skip me a year, because it was unfair to me the first go around. But I've always gone to regular school. And this is going to sound mean, and I honestly don't care, but there's a school, FSCB, the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind, that's in St. Augustine. But when I first lost my vision, or even shortly after, I was not interested in going to be around other blind children. But I just didn't. This is me not accepting it. This was me, because I've always been different. I don't need help from nobody. Like this, when the school was first introduced and I did the tour, I was just so turned off by no pun intended. The first thing I saw was this one lady. It was in the cafeteria, and she was assisting some students or whatever, teaching them how to eat. And that was the first thing I heard that pissed me off at 10. I was like, well, I don't need to learn how to fucking eat. I know how. Mm-hmm. What? And she would do this thing where she's like, okay, so if you put your hand right here. I'm like, I don't appreciate that. Mama, I don't want to go here. Because I don't want nobody talking to me like that. Mm-hmm. And then I just, no, you are not about to limit me. I don't care how much you say I'm going to thrive here. You are not going to limit me.
You know what? You real. You're real. I didn't mean to laugh, but what you said was like, okay, all right, don't laugh, Kendra, but you know, you hit me with some dark humor truth there. You know, so
I couldn't, no pun intended, I could not see myself sitting around a bunch of people who are just acclimated or accustomed to the darkness. Like, they were just like, this is life. And I'm just like, no, there's so much more you could be doing.
That's right. That's right. And maybe I was going to say this. Let me play devil's advocate. Can I play devil's advocate real quick?
We can play devil's advocate.
Okay. So I think maybe because everybody wasn't as advanced as you, that woman probably was just doing it for the people who...
No, because I have so many stories to tell you that will contradict that.
Okay.
So many. I blame a lot of the parents, Kendra. Mm-hmm. I do. Because the one issue I don't like about a lot of people back in the day who started out with TBI or Teach for the Blind and Visually Impaired or any type of training for someone who cannot see, the way they teach you is just so... God.
Is it remedial? Like it. So remedial?
It's not remedial. It's Jesus, that would be a mean word to say. It's so
dumb. Dumb? Would you say it's dumb?
No, it's the way they teach you. It's like they teach you to be independent but still dependent.
Got you. Okay.
Like, they made asking for help a huge thing, and it's like, no, I understand, yeah, when you need help, ask for it. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you prioritize asking for help, they're not learning shit on their own. Mm-hmm. I was in a class, and then another thing is that you'll have blind people. Let's just say it's just one class, right? Mm-hmm. But there's so many different students of so many different ages, and mind you, so many different cognitive functions. Nobody is ever the same in these classes, but they teach everyone the same, like everyone is the same. And I'm not bashing anybody or knocking anybody, but if it's someone I would learn different than someone who, say, is on access point. So what access point is, it's like, I don't like the word mental retardation, but when you're cognitively not as fast as everyone else, I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Now let me ask you this. I was not even aware, and you're staring, and I'm pretty sure they're not the only school that has done this same thing. It's probably plenty of other schools. Here's my question for you. Once you told your mother what was going on, did you all ever try to do a lawsuit or go up to the principal or the superintendent and see if you can get things changed around?
This was just during the tour. I didn't even say to go to school. No, ma'am. At the tour, I told my mom I'm not interested.
Oh, okay. Got it. I was thinking that, like, I heard you say that earlier, but I was thinking, like, maybe you still, once you saw what was going on, I was thinking that you went and told your mom and said, Mom, we need to shut this place down. We need to, see if we can have our names on it.
I'm not going to say that. Now, listen, I'm not going to say they're a bad school, need to be shut down. No, they're an amazing school. That's just my personal preference. I'd much rather learn in an environment where there are people, in other words, in a more challenging environment, considering the fact that they could see, because that's just what I was used to. I was never used to having anything handed to me.
Gotcha.
But at that school, they thrive because you have blind children who play tennis, basketball, bowling, track and field, varsity swim teams. It's a very, very gifted and amazing school. I just don't like hanging out with other blind people. I'm gonna be real. Sorry, I don't.
No, I
unless they're like me, then that's cool. But no, I'm cut from a different fabric. I'm one of a kind. I just no. I don't need your help. Thank you. I'm good. And if you keep trying to give me your help, I'm going to just have to tell you something.
No, listen, I understand. And speaking of sports, what sports did you actually play, or what sports do you still play now?
As a kid, I was such a tomboy. I loved basketball. I like to play with the boys. Now, before y'all listeners get all extra, like I said, me and my sister were the only girls. Mm-hmm. And my mom, when she was a kid, was the only girl. Even though she had my aunties or whatever, it was always, when it came down to the kids you could play with, it was nothing but boys. So, and the boys in my family, you know, they used to tease me. It was family fun, but they used to be like, oh, I bet you can't do this. I'm like, I can do whatever I want to do, and I'll do it better. So that's what I grew up with. But I enjoyed football. I enjoyed basketball. You know, we did our little thing with karate and boxing and everything else. Okay. There wasn't really too much. Well, I was just that kid. Whatever you're doing, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to know how to do it.
Got you. Now, speaking of karate, what color belt did you actually end up getting to?
Yellow. I was only like 7.
Oh, okay. Yellow. All right. I was like, you are you a black belt as well? Okay. And you mentioned basketball. Give me your top 5 favorite NBA players of all time. Exclude MJ, Kobe, LeBron. Any 5 of all time.
Okay. Ooh, God. I'm sorry. My boy Kobe. Kobe got to be number 1. Kobe's it. Kobe's number 1. Hold on. Brandon, who are my top 5 favorite basketball players? So I only know 2. Is Steph Curry a basketball player?
Yes, he's a basketball player, sweetie.
Okay, so he can be number 4.
Okay.
I don't like Michael Jordan. LeBron James can be number 3.
What about Dwayne Wade?
Like I said, Kobe's number 1. Oh yeah, Dwayne Wade. Oh wait, who's Odell Beckham? Is that basketball?
No, honey, that's football. We'll come back. We'll come back to the question. We'll come. Okay, please. We'll come back. And I just said exclude MJ, Kobe, LeBron. It's okay. We'll come back. All right. So let me. So Briana, you know what? I'm not even editing that out. This is all you, all natural. Like you, I love it. I love it.
That was funny. I love that.
I love it. Okay, so let's fast forward. We're graduating high school. Okay. Did you want to go to college, or what was the next step after graduating high school?
I definitely wanted to go to college. I'm actually on a break right now. I'm waiting to go back in January, start back on spring semester. But yeah, that was a priority for me because I would be the first in my family to go and graduate.
Congratulations!
I've always said, and like I've always said it, but it's something my mother always instilled in me. They can deny you a job, but they can't deny you a career. Like if you have your receipt, your degree, they can't deny you of anything. Because she was there for those times when I, would try to get a little job, and the employer or the business would be like, well, we can't. You're blind and da-da-da-da-da. So that made me kind of just give up as far as like a work ethic. But my mom was always like, no, fuck that. They can tell you no now, but you go and you get your degree, establish your foundation. A degree is the documentation to the rest of your successful life. They can't tell you no at all. They can't deny your intelligence or whatever. And growing up, I used to hate that because everybody always was like, I got a degree in this. And I'm like, okay, so sis. But when it came down to my situation, I was like, oh yeah, I need this little piece of paper right here.
And what's your major? What are you trying to get your major in?
I major in law and a minor in psychology.
So you are trying to be a lawyer? What are you trying to do with your degree?
I want to be a criminal defense attorney.
Okay.
I don't want to be a prosecutor, but I like to argue and I like to set people free. So.
Hey, look! Listen. I might need you now. I might need you on my team.
You're doing good with your podcast.
Well, no, I'm saying like, cause you know what? As I'm getting bigger, I'm kind of getting a little bit, known in these streets. People might try to run up on me, and I'm gonna, have to probably uppercut them if they come at me the wrong way. And so I'm gonna need you to argue down.
Well, that's when I'll just be your witness in court, and I'll be like, yeah, Your Honor, I was there, and I didn't see her do none of that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. We gon' that's fine with me. We gonna be around for a while. Okay, so you said and when should you be graduating?
I should be graduating August of next year.
So we throwing a big graduation party for you?
We are, because it's been a long time coming.
And you gonna have a yacht? What type of party you trying to get? A yacht party? What type of party you want?
I would like my graduation party. My graduation party is gonna be big. We gotta have yachts there. We gotta have Cardi and Meg there. We gotta have everybody there.
Okay, well listen, that's fine. If you reach them before I do, I'm gonna make sure they perform.
I'll let Rap the Game know to come by. I'll be like, look, I got a special guest here for you, bro.
Child, listen, if you see me pregnant out the blue, you know who the father is. All right, let's move on. Okay, so I did want to, get into the most, I guess, just a question like I think most people probably would want to know. And I guess I equated to you say you were trying to look for jobs, but a lot of jobs did not want to hire you. I guess maybe it could have been a liability type of thing in a way. And is that what made you decide to become a dancer?
Yeah, okay, that was one of the contributing factors. That, and I just did not have the time, because it's not the fact that it's a liability, because I'm probably the easiest liability to work with, honestly, because I'm the person that'll get hurt at work and to be like, suck it up, bitch, go get your ice and your knee is torn because you need this job. That'd be me, unless it was their fault. But no, at first, it was always, oh, well, what if this happens? You can't do this, you can't do that. And I was like, well, why don't I sign one of those papers that said, well, if this happens, God forbid, you're not held responsible, da, 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 da. They're like, yeah, but there's still, like, our consciences.
Okay. Like, you already gave them an actual option to help, and they still don't want to help.
Like, help you, help me. Like, just hire me, bro. That's all you got to do. And I was never used to, like, being told no. Like, blame my mom for that. I'm sure. I would go to these places and be like, look, I need to work. And some of the employees there, I'd be like, look, see what she's doing? I could do that like 10 times better and 2 times faster. Like, come on, give me a chance. But everybody will just be like, no. And even when you hit them with the fine print, because what a lot of businesses don't know is, or they know, but they don't bring it up because it's not something that's really aware or something that society is aware of. Mm-hmm. But it's illegal to tell a person with any type of handicap or situation, it's illegal to tell them no. So it's illegal and against the law to deny them employment. Considered discrimination. And I never used to like to hit people with that, because I was always like, oh, that just kind of sounds like some snitch shit. Like, oh, if you don't give me a job, I'm gonna get y'all shut down. Like, I don't roll.
Hold on. Sometimes you have to, so people know not to play. Play with you, saying like we talked about earlier. Like we talked about earlier about the whole, you don't like to have to fight, but if somebody comes at you, hey, you let them know what time it is. Super Saiyan them, okay? So let me ask you, when you brought that to them, were they willing and reluctant to hire, or did you have to have a lawyer, on standby?
They were actually more reluctant. Like, I've had people literally read it out loud in their like manual in their book, and they're like, well, this doesn't apply to us. I'm like, it's in your handbook. Does it apply to you? Yeah. Yeah, no, for real.
So you never took anybody to court, right?
No, it just, I never had the time, because even with that type of a situation, when you want to, go forward with a discrimination suit or whatever the case may be, there's so many avenues and loopholes that are in it. Then they'll flip it around and make it seem like the business is looking out for you and they care and love you so much, when in reality, these motherfuckers don't want no bloodshed in their establishment, point blank. They don't want shit to do with you.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
And they can take several weeks to months to even years, like, to even settle. So at that point, I was like, I need shmoney, and I need shmoney now. It's my shmoney, and I want it now.
That's it. Let's do the commercial over again. So we get to we start with the stripping. All right. How did you know?
It didn't just happen that.
Not that quickly. Like in due time, it came even after much. All right, I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I had this problem for 2 years before I started actually dancing. Like, I started dancing 6 months after I graduated high school. Mind you, I graduated a little late. I graduated at 20, but I don't give a fuck how long it took. I still did it. I was a 3-time high school dropout and a mother, so I still did it.
Oh, well, happy Mother's Day. Can you adopt me?
As long as I can get some child support, I don't mind.
That's fine. Listen, you can put me write me off. You can write me off on your taxes and everything else like that. You can write me off on your taxes and everything else like that. Listen, I understand now. Okay. So 6 months later, it took a couple of years. I know people might want to know, especially how did you know when people weren't cheating you? When it came to if it was like $50 for the dance, how did you actually know you weren't being cheated?
Okay, I love answering this question because I love bursting the bubbles of all those ignorant people out there because you'll be surprised like how confident people are until you shut them all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
So with me, like I said, I sat and thought about it for a long time. Like that 6 months I mentioned, that entire 6 months, because I moved into my own home, a week before I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's one of the job situations. Like I said, I was 20, so previously I was already having issues with a job because I wanted to save to go to college and everything else. But I had dreams. I had a plan, but life was tweaking it a little bit. So that 6 months I mentioned, I was just like, man, how's this going to work? What am I going to do? Social Security is nice, but it's not covering anything. It's not keeping me afloat. Like, what am I going to do? And a friend of mine came over one day, and she's like, well, this might sound crazy, but you're not ugly, and your butt's real big, and your boobs are fake, so you'd be the perfect dancer.
Well, your boobs are fake? Did she say your boobs are fake?
My boobies are fake. My mommy got them for me.
You know what? Well, can I first commend you for being honest? Because you know how many women will not be honest about their body parts?
I don't know why. I'm proud of them. I love it. That was the best thing I could say out of my mouth ever. I got me some titties.
Okay, I got a question. I got a random weird question for you since we're on the subject of boobs for like 30 seconds. I got a question. When you have somebody suck on your nipples, do you still feel that sensation or is the sensation gone?
No, it's still there. It's actually like it feels extra sensitive.
Okay, so it feels extra great. Okay, I'm asking.
Think about getting her boobs done.
I'm asking for a friend. All right, great. All right, okay. So your friend came over, said, "Hey, you have all these great essentials. And then she's like, "Hey, you should probably try this."
I laughed at her.
Mm-hmm.
I hit the floor hollering. It was so funny to me because I was just like, a stripper? Me? They're like bulldogs. Why would I want to do that? What? We live in Jacksonville. What? Why would I? What? I can't see. This is what? That's all I kept saying. It was so funny to me. Because I had heard strip club stories. Because I had, aunties and cousins who were dancers or who were bartenders, and the stories I would hear were just so like, wow, people do that nowadays? And they're like, yeah, it's a real cutthroat industry. Like, I'd hear stories about, this dancer liked this one guy and he wasn't into her, he was into another girl, so she went and she threw potash or acid in that girl's face. And I'm like,
wow, I didn't realize it got that crazy. Hey, anything is possible, right?
Yeah, and so when my friend approached me with it, I was like, and I can't even fucking see, like, dude, what? No. Mm-mm. And she's like, well, if anything, you'd make a whole bunch of money because you're really smart and yeah, your butt's big. I'm like, okay, thank you. So that was just kind of in one ear and out the other, but I really started thinking about it getting further into that 6 months as I mentioned, because I was living in this apartment and they made renovations, they got to do management, and they raised my rent like $500. And this is me as an adult. Like, I was that kid. I am not going to ask my mother for anything. Like, once I'm out on my own and I'm good and it's just me, like, that titty sucking shit is over with. Like, you put your big girl panties on and go make it happen. And in my case, I put my big girl G-string and my pasties on, and I went and made it happen, because I didn't tell her, and she had no idea. And to this day, she had no idea, like, what caused it, like, what changed my mind and pushed, why I chose that path. But, my landlord came to me and he said, well, the rent's being raised by this much. I need $500 in 3 weeks.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it with a what.
And what happens if I don't have it? He's like, well, I'm just going to have to evict you.
Look, listen, desperate times, I guess, call for desperate measures or so, in a way. I hate that.
When I mentioned the time for the lawyers or whatever, that's in this 3 weeks, I would go to job after job after job after job after job after job. In that 3 weeks, I went to 127 different establishments. Like, I was desperate, like, wanted a job. Bad. Needed a job. Bad. And everybody kept telling me no, and everybody's like, oh, well, you should get a lawyer. This is like, by the time this case is processed and I get whatever I'm owed or my justice is fought out, I'm going to be standing on a corner with my little knapsack thrown over my shoulder. Like, I don't have time, and I'm getting a lawyer because of discrimination laws. Like, I don't have the time nor the patience, because I'm going to just keep pissing myself off. But every time I go to a job, they tell me no. I'm going to keep making myself mad for it.
You know what? And that's how they they do that on purpose. Like, when it comes with the justice system, it just works against people and stuff like that. They do that on purpose. I wanted to, ask a few more questions, and then we can wrap it up and bring you back for part 2 and everything else like that. What was the biggest tip that you remember receiving at any point? The biggest, like, you went home that day, you're like, wow, I was really loved.
You mean in a night, or just like just hitting the, like, explain that?
In a night, in one night, the biggest tip in one night that you remember receiving, like the most amount you ever took home.
$23.94.
That's good.
$2,194.
It's a shame that you actually say $2,000. People might think $23. Guys, come on now. Don't play her like that. Don't you play her like that. Now, are you currently, because I know I want to touch a little bit on your music and everything else like that. Are you currently still dancing, or you're no longer dancing? You're just focused on music now?
It is honestly, and I hate to brag when I say this, but it's not really a priority anymore now that I've, kind of dabbled in other things. Music is my passion, so, like, now, if I say I drop something on some tuition or I pay bills a little early, I'll go to the club so I can get my security budget, my studio time budget all racked up in a night or whatever. But it's not anything, or if I want to shoot a music video or anything that requires me spending a pretty penny, that is when the club comes into play. So it's on the back burner right now, just for right now.
Got you. Okay, well, I appreciate your honesty. Let's quickly talk about your music, and I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, and then you going to join, the next podcast I'm about to do and everything else like that. So let's go ahead into it. Music. You are a rapper, a singer. What are you? Behind the scenes songwriter. What are you doing when it comes with the music?
I'm a writer and a rapper. I used to be a singer. Shout out to my husband, Justin Bieber. Shout out to him.
Oh, I heard you say Bae in the background. I was like, oh my goodness, she off the market for good. She off the market, y'all.
No. That's my baby brother.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah. That's my favorite brother.
Okay, so Justin Bieber. Okay, so tell me what made you decide to say I'm gonna do transition over into music?
I don't know. Music has been my life ever since I could talk.
Got you.
I love music. Even as a kid, I would hear songs on the radio and sing the lyrics, and then when I wasn't old enough to listen to the explicit lyrics, I just changed the lyrics to my lyrics. Things like that. If I had to study or something, I'd take the beat to a song I like and wrap up some study methods, like things like that.
Okay. And what is your ultimate dream to do? Like what you told me about what you're trying to do with your degree with college. What is your ultimate dream to do when it comes with the music aspect?
My ultimate dream, I'm just trying to be an international and a global platinum record selling artist. It's my dream to stand on a stage with Missy Elliott, Lil Kim, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. We can keep them separated. I'll stand between them. Mary J. Blige. Like, I want to be on stage with legends of music, queens of hip hop, and with my little Bieber baby bump, chilling, doing my thing.
Would you be okay with being in a poly relationship with him and Haley?
Hell to the motherfucking no.
Good answer. Okay, so tell everybody, before we get to the rapid fire questions, let people know where they can find your music and when it comes with...
You can find my music on Spotify. Listen, y'all, I had a lot of music out once upon a time, but then I took it all down because I got discouraged. So I'm this week actually coming up, I'm releasing new music. You can find me on SoundCloud. It's much easier just to follow me on Instagram at the legendary Bae Charles. That's no spaces. The first letter of each word is capital, y'all. At the legendary Bae Charles. Like Ray Charles, but I'm Bae Charles.
And B-A-E, guys. B is in Bravo, A is in Echo, E is in Oscar. Just to let you guys know how to spell it. No, because they're going to spell it like the legendary Bae Charles. They'll try to spell it B-A-Y Charles. I'm like, no. I'm helping the people out to let them to find you correctly on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said E as an Oscar. I was like, huh?
Oh, no, I did say E as an Oscar. I'm sorry. E is an Echo. Yes, listen, it's been a long day. So the legendary B-A-E. E is an Echo. Okay, there's a E almost close to Oscar. Okay, anyway. So, girl, this is me all day long. Ain't no cuts. All right, let's go ahead and do a rapid fire question. And let me tell you one thing. I'm all about manifestation. If you made it this far, you're gonna make it even further. So I'm telling you the truth. Okay. So let's do a rapid fire questions fast 5. What is a black film that you don't care for that's pretty popular in our community?
It's not that one. I tried for days to think on that one. Can we do the Celebrity Crush one?
Okay,
that one was so hard. It was so
or
hard.
a character that you like. They can just throw that character away.
That one, I thought about that one too. That one's hard. I get rid of a lot of people.
Okay, that's good. Give me one. Just give me one person. Give me one kid.
Like that whole Christina from Ghost. I was so ready when they killed her ass off.
You said Christina from Ghost?
Not Ghost Power. Damn.
Oh, okay.
I was so sick of her.
Okay, I didn't. Okay, got you. I gotta rewatch Power again. Okay, so we'll skip that question. What's your go-to favorite meal to cook?
I'd say my favorite meal to cook is either gonna be like a roast, or some smothered pork chops. Like, I gotta have gravy. I gotta have the juices. Gotta have the tender meat. God, that sounded so wrong. Anyway, smothered pork chops. But I love cabbage. I love to cook cabbage, and I gotta have potatoes. I gotta have a potato.
I got you.
Whether it be mashed or baked or loaded, gotta have a potato.
Got it. What's a good ass day for you, from beginning to end?
A good ass day? God. Oh man, what is a good ass day for me? A good ass day for me is anything that requires me. If I can wake up and continuously make money all that day until I retire to my bed, that's a good day. A day where I don't answer my phone to any like bad news. Because every time I answer my phone every day, it's always something. It's always something on my phone that I look at that makes me go again.
Well, I'm glad I send you positivity. That way it's not a blah when I send something.
Just positive energy. That's a good day for me. Just and a day where if I get a lot of stuff done, like if it's something I've been needing to do or been wanting to do, production. If there's a lot of production and money making throughout the course of that day, that is a good ass day for me.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask one last one for the sake of time. When did you know that God was real for you?
When did I know that God was real for me? God is just real and awesome and good all the time. He's been real since I was implanted in my mother's womb. But when I knew officially in my heart that there was a God was when there was a time where I was surrounded by some very, very, very bad people who wanted to like take me out of this world and take me from my mother and from my family. And I whispered and I was like, if you're real, just get me out of this. And I woke up at home safely in my own bed the next morning, and I woke up and just said, thank you, God. And that right there was a moment for me when God saved my life, when he heard my cry, like my spiritual cry, he knew.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, we're gonna do like a part 2. We're gonna do a part 2 and everything else because there were some things. Wait, hold on. Last question. What made your mother decide to allow you to get implants?
She knew I had always wanted. I've been dating my mom. I've been asking my mom about boobs since I was like 12. Because I was so excited. Because I was that child. I was in first grade with a training bra. So as I got older, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have boobs. But they never went anywhere. They just stayed right there, and the rest of me grew. Mm-hmm. So I was like 12 and 13 years old. I was like, Mom, that's how you said when I had my period, I get boobs. And she was like, well, your body's not completely done growing till you're 21. She's always hitting me with that. But I went to my mom one day because, like I said, I was a wild child. I was a crazy-ass kid. I was a crazy, uppity, hyper-ass kid. And she told me one day if I were to shape up, because my mom didn't play about school, y'all. She didn't. She was like, Mom, she better not get no call. She better not be, especially if she's at her job, she better not look down at her phone and see Duval County Schools. She better not see none of that. So I started cutting up, and slowly but surely I started doing a little bit better. And one day she was like, well, we were having a talk again about my boobs. And she was like, well, if you can shape up and get right and graduate, because you're this close to graduating, I don't need you fucking up. I will go ahead and get your boobs. And that's what happened.
Shout out to Mom. You need to bring your mother on the interview next time. We're gonna do a little triple threat type thing. But okay, guys. Well, thank you again, Miss Briana. You have been lovely. You've been wonderful. Hold on. Don't hang up, because we about to go ahead and get into my own individual podcast.
Really?
Yeah, say that again.
My flat iron has not been on.
Oh no. Okay, all right. Well, she's working on her flat iron, guys. I'm gonna end this great interview with Bae Charles, aka Briana Blayre, aka the next Missy Elliott / Nicki Minaj / Timberland / everything, right? Well, you all.
And it's okay. I want y'all to know that I want Justin to be happy, and I'm not praying for him and Haley to divorce, but just know I'll be right there, like the first one in line when it occurs.
That's it.
So we want everybody to stay in love and whatnot.
That's it. All right, then. Well, this has been another great interview by Kendra Crump. If you guys didn't like it, catch a Charlie horse. Adios.